Hello, Potato. It's the weekend again, and I don't know about you, but I thought this was a really, really long week. Just because we didn't have the joy of Star Wars Day, or the Revenge of the Sixth, or even Cinco de Mayo to move us through. But just because it wasn't Star Wars Day this week, doesn't mean we can't have some Star Wars Day stuff, right? If you remember last week, all I had for last week's video was the Lego stuff I got for Star Wars Day. I didn't have any of my ShopDisney Disney Store stuff because it hadn't arrived yet. Well, today it's arrived, so I guess that makes this the Revenge of the 15th? I don't know. So pretty much this year, for me, it was all keys and pins, and to be fair, that's pretty much the majority of what they had up on Shop Disney. There were some figures, some very nice, very expensive figures that I didn't get. And there were, of course, shirts and those lightsabers, which are nice, but I think for lightsabers, I'm just going to wait till I can go and build my own. But yeah, it's pretty much just pins and keys and one slightly larger thing that I picked up that I thought was interesting. So I guess let's start with the smallest things and start with the pins. So we'll start with what is one of the big things every year for Star Wars Day, and that is the Star Wars Day pin. I've been doing Star Wars Day pins actually since before I think Shop Disney was doing them, or Disney Store was doing them. I have a couple older ones somewhere, actually from when Think Geek used to do Star Wars Day stuff. And yeah, those are kind of nice too. One is like a BB-8, where the actual, like, his ball spins. But this is this year's Star Wars Day pin. May the 4th be with you 2021. Honestly, I like this one better than last year's. Last year was just like some stormtroopers. This one I think looks quite nice. We've got the Death Star, TIE fighters, we got X-Wing fighters, we got a Y-Wing in there, we've got a Rebel pilot and an Imperial pilot, and it's a nice little pin. I like the black background. I like the silver on it. It's a double-backed pin because it is a little chunky. Got some pin-on-pin going on here with the Death Star being a separate piece affixed to the front. It was $15.99. It's a limited release pin, which doesn't really mean anything because it just means that there's only so many of them that will be made, which is true of literally anything. But it's a nice pin, and weirdly, there was another design that they had showed on the Shop Disney website at the time, and I never did see anything with that. I don't know, maybe there was like a special giant pin, but I haven't seen anybody take pictures of it or video of it. So I wonder if they maybe just used a wrong, like an older version of the logo that didn't actually use for the pins. I saw it, I think, on some shirts, but never on like a, look at the guy holding it in the picture, or woman holding it, the person holding it in the picture. Looked like it was like a maybe an oversized pin, like maybe as big as the whole card here is. And yeah, I didn't see anything that looked like that, like it was actually a pin or a patch or whatever it was supposed to be. I never saw it, but I do quite like this. Like I said, I do like it a lot better than last year. It was $15.99. I don't remember if it's on Shop Disney still or not, but when I went to the Disney Store last night, they still had a few of them on the shelf. So if you didn't get it, you may still have a chance if you still have a Disney Store near you. But again, check the Shop Disney site. Next is actually an item I didn't purchase on Star Wars Day. I waited and purchased it last night at the Disney Store. I was kind of iffy about it originally, but I did like the design, and I figured if I saw it in store, I'd pick it up. And that is this one, the Star Wars The Bad Batch limited release Clone Force 99 pin. Yes, that's what that says. I think, was it Aradesh? I think was the name of the language. It's only a single back pin, which is kind of weird because it is kind of big, and it's going to spin if you put it on something. You can see it rotate in the bag. But it's a nice little pin, and it looks like it's one thing I do like when it comes to buying items from movies and TV shows is things that shouldn't exist in our world. And this looks like a pin that would exist in the world of the Bad Batch. Something like insignia one of them might actually wear. That's why I like it. And it was $15.99. I want to say Shop Disney, at least last time I looked, doesn't have any of these on the website. But like I said, I picked this up at the Disney Store itself. They still had a number of these, and now I have one. And our last pin is also from The Bad Batch, which I'm quite enjoying. I watched episode 3 last night and quite liking it. I'm liking I'm liking the filling in of the gap of the creation of stormtroopers and the kind of the growing pains and of changing over from clones to conscripts, and just kind of the window into why they didn't like clones, or why one person didn't like clones, despite the fact it probably was a bad idea. But this bin here features our 5 main Bad Batch characters. We got Hunter, we got Echo, we got Tech, Wrecker, and spoilers, the villainous Crosshair. I'm guessing at some point in the season he will redeem himself, but we're not there yet. Now, you may notice I took this out of the plastic, unlike the other two, and there's a reason for that. So I noticed on the back, of course, again, limited release, $15.99. I got this at the Disney store. I don't know if ShopDisney still has it on there or not, but I noticed it was a double back, right? And I noticed that one of the backs seemed to line up with Crosshair here, who's kind of got that pin-on-pin thing going on. And then I realized I could push him. Crosshair is not attached. Crosshair is a separate pin that you can take off, which makes sense. I was kind of hoping when I took it off that maybe Omega would be underneath it. I have this strong feeling that Omega may not make it through the whole series. I kind of feel like she's supposed to be their Grogu, but at the same point, I kind of feel like she's not going to make it. And the reason I feel like that is, if you've seen the Lego set, and you better believe that I will be getting this Lego set when it comes out, I'm not going to pre-order it at this point. The only reason I pre-ordered the Razor Crest last year was because it qualified, well, it was available on Star Wars Day, and it qualified for the promo set. This year they chose to unveil the Bad Batch set the day after Star Wars Day, presumably because I guess spoilers, because the show came out on the 4th, but that meant it wasn't valid for any sort of, actually no, it came out on the 6th, wasn't it? Anyways, there weren't any promo sets on it available for it at the time, so I didn't see any point in pre-ordering it just yet. That might change. Otherwise, I might just pick it up in the Lego store when it comes out. But yeah, you can take Crosshair off and reveal the Clone Force 99 logo underneath, or at least just the 99 part of it. So I thought that was interesting. It was very interesting that Crosshair can be removed from the Bad Batch. And I wonder if that means maybe he's not going to redeem himself? I feel like he will. I mean, I feel like on the show, he maybe has done some things that are a little hard to come back from. But then again, I mean, he's under the influence of Order 66, so maybe we can forgive a little bit of that. Yep, well, let's look at the pin. And now let's move on to something a little larger, and that's the keys. So first, ShopDisney can't do anything anymore without doing keys. And for the second year in a row, we've had a Star Wars Day key. Now, last year's Star Wars Day key was a tremendous cluster mug of a mess. It was, of course, the whole website last year was a tremendous cluster mug of a mess. At least this year, that was operating a little bit better. But last year's key was... No, it was not a giveaway. I think it was a giveaway key, but it was not a giveaway key. It was a purchase key. And mine, you can't see it because, one, the camera's not focused that direction, and two, it's kind of dark back there. But my Darth Vader figure from my toy box is holding last year's Star Wars Day key. This year's Star Wars Day key, as all the non-giveaway ones tend to be now in the US, is in a box. Because I guess that's just the way we're going forward. The UK seems to get the keys loose and frequently as giveaways. We get them to purchase because we're schmucks and we'll pay for them. And I want to say this year's key was a little bit more expensive than the keys at this point, where they normally are like $12.99. I think this was $14.99. But it's got a very nice kind of red and black Darth Vader-y thing going with it. May the 4th be with you 2021 is written on the D. And we've got like kind of a Darth Vader lightsaber hilt for the main body of the key. And of course, a red semi-transparent end of the key with the Star Wars key teeth. Yeah, it's a nice key. I don't know. I think last year's was blue though, right? So I think that's the big difference, is this one actually looks more like Vader's lightsaber, as where last year's looked maybe a little more Luke-ish. But yep, these are limited release, and when I was in the Disney store last night, they had a ton of them. Which, of course, last year's Star Wars Day key also, once the Disney store reopened, before being shut down, they also ended up with tons of them, and I ended up getting a spare that way. But Yeah, they had plenty of these. If you missed out on it, I think they're still on the ShopDisney site. Honestly, in the Disney store last night, they had 2 displays that were pretty much all keys, like an end cap and then the collector's corner display were pretty much all keys. It's funny because like the princess key, the one that was actually a giveaway, that one disappeared apparently in a couple hours. But the ones you can actually pay for, those exist for days. I think ultimately for collectability, it's those rare giveaway ones that are going to be the ones that people need to collect. And these ones will just be kind of like 1990s Star Wars figures where everybody held on to them, and therefore they're worth nothing. Now, as where the giveaway keys and the older keys are going to be more of like your original 70s and 80s Star Wars figures that nobody kept, they played with, somebody's mom threw them out, so those ones are worth more. Yep, there's this year's Star Wars key. But it's not the only Star Wars key, no. We also have this set, the Mandalorian key set. You got a Mando key, you got a Grogu key. Well, just call him, I guess I'm going to call him Grogu, we should call him Din Djarin. We have Din Djarin, we have Grogu, they're both here. Now, of course, we already have a Grogu key. That of the child key, which was a full-size one last year. So this is kind of, I don't know, redundant, maybe? I don't know. But it is cute, and this I believe was $16.99, so only a couple dollars more than just the Star Wars Day key. But see, this is, I think, not just meant to be a Mandalorian key. This is meant to be similar to what they do with the Wishables. If you've noticed on the Wishables plush, what you have in those generally is one plush that you buy separately, and then a blind bag selection. Like I think for Star Wars Day they released droid ones. And you gotta think like R2 was available on his own, and the other ones like Rex and I think it was R5 and a Gonk droid, and those were all in the blind bags, which those seem to have sold out. I guess those do well. But I think that's what this is supposed to be. This is supposed to be the key you can buy on its own, because the other thing they released on Star Wars Day were blind box keys. And if you look on the pictures here, you'll see that much like these two, they're clearly modeled after individual characters. You have R2, C-3PO, Yoda, Chewbacca, BB-8, and a special secret key, which, spoilers, is an Ewok. I'm guessing probably Wicket. So yeah, naturally I bought some of these. A few of these. I bought some from ShopDisney. I bought some in the Disney store. So yeah, we have 7 of them in total. So guess what Sunday's video is going to be? Yes, Sunday we're going to open up these keys and see if I can't manage to get... I have 8? I do have 7. Yeah. Manage to see if I can get all 6 keys by buying just 1 extra. Probably not, but we'll find out. Yeah, they're interesting looking. I think they look better than those Valentine's Day keys. I think those Valentine's Day keys looked pretty sad. Maybe it was just where the glitter was applied to them, made them look cheap, but these ones I think look nicer, and they're Star Wars, which is, I guess, better than Valentine's Day. Alright, so we have one more thing, slightly bigger. Let's take a look at that. So aside from keys and pins, they did also release some action figures on Star Wars Day. They had some really nice Sideshow collectible ones for hundreds of dollars, and some less expensive $25 Star Wars Black Series figures that were also meant to commemorate the 50th anniversary of Lucasfilm. And I picked up one of them, and that was the Darth Maul Sith Apprentice figure, which is, I think, quite nice looking. And interesting on these is, so the way they're packaged makes them look kind of like either a book or like a VHS cassette box. And they had this, and they had Luke Skywalker, they had Jackson, who is a rabbit that I think has only appeared in the comics and looks an awful like Jazz Jackrabbit. And then there was a 4th guy, like Connor Jax or something like that, from I think Shadows of the Empire. But I think these are all meant to be like ones from the old comic books. Because I think he appears this way a little bit in maybe Clone Wars, like in some flashbacks. But I think mostly this is him from the comics. But we have words on here. Darth Sidious's apprentice and enforcer Darth Maul has cut his way through the ranks of the galactic crime syndicate Black Sun to take on the pinnacle of their organization. And then just the same thing again in like 6 other languages. So I think this is meant to be from the comics. Unfortunately, this got a little knocked up in shipping, but the figure still looks good. And apparently the Disney store didn't actually get any of these. If they'd had the Jackson one last night when I was in there, I probably would have picked it up. But all they had were pins and keys. They didn't have any of they probably didn't even get any of the figures. Not like they sold out, they just didn't get them. And again, I strongly suspect that's Shop Disney trying to sabotage the Disney store. Yeah, it's I think a nice little figure. It's I think the best of the 4 that were released. Again, I might get Jackson down the road, but at $25 a piece, I don't know. Because I haven't even decided if I'm going to open him yet or not. Because I mean, the box is kind of nice, but at the same point to me, it feels like a kind of a cheaper version of those figures like that Target has. The horror movie ones, they have Gremlins ones, and actually it's the same series that my Pennywise figure up there came from. I think it's NECA or Mezco, I can't remember which one. I always get them mixed up. It wasn't totally different like Mecha, I'm probably just mixing up the names altogether. But you know, those boxes, this looks kind of like almost like a cheaper version of that, just because, and maybe it's because it got a little dinged up in shipping, but you've got kind of exposed cardboard up here and down at the corner there. I mean, it looks at the same time, it looks both nice and like a cheap knockoff, if that makes any sense at all. But still, it's nice, and along with the R2-D2 Lego set, it's the only other 50th anniversary item I have. I'm kind of surprised there wasn't a Lucasfilm 50th pin on Star Wars Day. It kind of seemed like that would have been a natural to do this logo as a pin, but they didn't, or at least they didn't yet. Maybe they'll do it later. But so yeah, that's gonna be the summation of my Star Wars Day haul. Obviously, this isn't the last of the Star Wars Day videos, because, as I've already said, tomorrow we'll be opening these lovelies. Yep, so if you want to see me throw away way too much money. Now, like I said, I bought some of these at Shop Disney and some at Disney Store, and I can't tell which are which because even the ones from Disney Store don't have a price tag on them. They just have the barcode. So I thought that was interesting. Usually, like with the mystery pins for the keys, I was able to tell which ones I got from Shop Disney and which ones I got at Disney Store, because the Disney Store ones had price tags on them and the Shop Disney ones didn't. But that's not the case here. So some of these came from Disney Store, some of these came from Shop Disney. We'll find out what's in them tomorrow. Which leaves just one last thing, which is what got me through this week. And you know, I had to think about it this time. Nothing jumped out at me. Things have jumped out the last few weeks. This week, nothing really jumped out. So what I've settled on isn't something that just got me through this week, but something I've kind of been working my way through over the last few weeks, and I'm going to suggest to you. And it's a very, very ultra low budget series of movies that I found on Amazon Prime. Like that Amazon Prime has been bugging me for quite a long time to watch, and I finally gave in and started watching them. And it's a series called Bad Ben. These are like some ultra low budget movies, mostly done by one guy called Nigel Bach. And in these films, he plays a character called Tom Riley, who's kind of an obnoxious jerk, but somehow, kind of like, say, Alan Partridge, he grows on you, or at least he grew on me, to the point that I'm interested, I'm invested in what's going on with him. So Bad Ben, which, you know, the name tells you right there, this is not going to be a quality film, follows Tom Riley as he checks out a house he won at a sheriff's auction on Steelmanville Road. It's a fully furnished house that clearly people just like walked out of. I think in reality it's actually Nigel Bach's real home. And the first film is entirely done on his cell phone and security cameras around the house. It's found footage, so if you're into found footage films, that's what you have here. The premise is that it's just been edited together from footage from the cloud, from the cameras, and from his phone. And basically, he's going to flip the house and resell it. He's kind of blown all his money on buying this house. He's going to flip it, and he finds out that there is a spirit there called Bad Ben, among other spirits. And there are 8 movies in the full series. I've only seen 6 of them because Amazon doesn't have, as part of Prime, the 2 they don't actually have Bad Ben in the title. So there are actually 8 movies in the series. There's the original Bad Ben. There's Steelmanville Road, which I guess is meant to be sort of a prequel. I think maybe it's taking place before Bad Ben. Again, I haven't seen it. There's Badder Ben, the final chapter. Spoiler, it's not. Bad Ben, the Mandela Effect, which is interesting in that it is almost like an Elseworlds what-if version of the first film that shows you, like, I think 4 or 5 shorter alternate versions of Tom Riley first encountering the house on Steelmanville Road. Then there's the Crescent Moon Clown, which again I haven't seen, so I can't speak too much to it, other than that Crescent Moon Clown does show up in the later films. Then there's Bad Ben, The Way In, which incorporates things from both the Mandela Effect and, again, the character Crescent Moon Clown is specifically referenced and I believe shows up in it. Bad Ben, The Haunted Highway, which finally sees Tom leave the house on Steelmanville Road for a while and become essentially an Uber driver. And finally, most recently, I'm sure there will be more, Bad Ben Pandemic, which I haven't looked up to verify, but I'm pretty sure is Nigel Bach got his fans to basically do their own little skits on their own cameras and send them to him, and he basically constructed a movie around those clips of basically Tom interacting with the people in these other videos during, of course, last year's pandemic, although not necessarily the pandemic we were going through. It's a very cheap series. What effects there are not good. I don't really think there's much in the way of a script. I kind of feel like Nigel Bach is improvising a lot of it as he goes along. I'm sure he knows where he wants to go with it, but the actual dialogue, or really monologue, because especially in the first film, he's by himself the entire time, is just kind of thought up as he goes. Other characters do pop up later on, and I think they're actually cameos. I think the characters from Steelmanville Road have a cameo at the end of Badder Ben, but I can't say for sure, but it looks like the couple on the cover art for Steelmanville Road appear at the very end of Badder Ben. But they're not good, but they are fun, and there are frankly worse ways that you could spend your time. And most of all, I'm not, when I say these movies are cheap, I'm not ragging on them, I'm not criticizing them, because you know what? Nigel Bach deserves my respect, and I'm going to say your respect, because the man decided he was going to do a thing, and darn it, he did the thing. He wanted to make a movie, and he made a movie. And I respect that. Is it ever going to win an award? Not one necessarily you'd want to win, but I found it compelling enough to not only watch the first one, but watch all 6 of the ones Amazon Prime has up on there. And yeah, if you want to kill a few hours and you like found footage movies, or you just want to see a man make a thing. He wanted to make a movie, and he made a movie, and I have all the respect in the world for that. So yeah, that's my thing this week. That's what got me through this week. The Bad Ben series. If you have Amazon Prime, you can watch the main movies on there. Steelmanville Road and the Crescent Moon Clown both have rental fees, so I haven't watched them. And that's going to wrap us up for this week's Weekend Magic. I hope you found this all interesting or entertaining. If you did, please give the video a like and make sure you are subscribed to the channel. And if you're interested in these at all, check back tomorrow, assuming you watch this the day it's released. If you're watching this after it's released, then obviously I've already done these, and you can probably watch it right next. But yeah, come back for that if you're interested. Otherwise, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.